The moment has arrived.
I pushed the button. It's going to work.
This is going to be scary good, man.
I'm sorry?
We're killing it. It's Maddie Levine with my good friend Dave Van Auken. Welcome to the Fight Banana Show.
The ruthless one, Elle Dawson.
Hey, guys.
Our girl, Gillian the Savage Robertson.
What's up? How you guys doing?
Welcome to the Fight Bananas Show. 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern, only on Fight Bananas.
You know what that means, bitches. I'm about to get caffeinated up, and we're about to have the Fight Bananas Show.
Wow, let's go. Happy Tuesday to everyone and all. What's up, guys? Dave Van Auken, Miss Maddie Levine, the one and only. When she gets caffeinated, it is on a whole other level. Guys, look at the bottom. Absolutely stacked show. That's what we do.
I'm so excited. We got a killer lineup today. Shout out to our girl Elle, who's taken a much deserved vacay this week. That girl has been just crushing it left and right. She's turning into you, Dave. If she could make like another Elle, she could do all the things that she could want to do. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like proud a little bit. I'm like, she's turning into this absolute monster in the best way possible. You know, that's how people talk in the biz.
Right.
Dude, she's unbelievable. She's incredible. So pumped.
So pumped. So yeah, she's taken much deserved time off. But we got plenty to get to. We got some killer guests today. Coming up in just a little bit, we got Dakota Bush, Karisa Maxwell over at PFL joining us again to kind of just give us a little love about how Hollywood went, and then it's off to Washington.
Not even that. So Thursday, I think I talked about it a little bit. I am flying myself. I'm going to Washington, D.C. Francis Ngannou and Cyborg, Larissa Pacheco, and who Francis is fighting Renan Ferreira, and then Jake Paul. They're doing this monster press conference. We are going to be there. It's going to be super fun. That's Thursday, Washington, D.C. Karisa Maxwell is going to be there. So we're going to have a good time. I might have to buy her a drink. I might.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you're a true gentleman, then you will buy her more than one. But
I'm not buying another lady more than one drink.
You know what? That's fair because you're a true gentleman. There you go. Our girl Gillian will be on it too. And then this is a fun one. Josh Palmer. So everybody's talking about the Craig Jones Invitational. Josh Palmer was the lead commentator for the first ever CJ. So we're going to get a firsthand account on how that went down. And then shout out to Redefine Violence. The owner will be joining us to wrap up the show and tell us a little bit about all their stuff. But
I love it.
Dude, wild weekend of fights.
Insane. There's so much I want to get into, like with just the UFC 305, the main event itself. And then I could talk about Gamrot and Dan Hooker for 10 minutes, 20 minutes,
know.
Right? There's so much. Of course, with PFL in Hollywood and Impa Kasanka and what they did. Also, there was a Brendan Allen, Marvin Vettori fight too.
That we did not expect.
So there's a ton to get into. I feel like let's get into one. I know Dakota's here in the green room. We'll kind of get him early. And we'll kind of go back into 305. Let's hit on the main event. Can we talk about Dricus and Izzy just for a second, Maddie? Hit it back and forth.
Yes,
when as a community, as Fight Bananas, or just as an MMA community, when are we going to give Dricus his flowers? Like the man just keeps on winning.
I know.
Like I don't care how it looks like. The man just keeps winning fights.
Here's the problem, and I feel like this was a similar problem when Alex Pereira first started. They're not visually appealing. Let me explain. Not talking about they're hot or not. I'm talking about the way that they perform and they're striking. It's kind of unorthodox. You have Alex Pereira who throws punches in a very weird way sometimes from weird angles. And then you got DDP who looks like he's about to gas out every 5 seconds, but then just like pulls it out of nowhere and just freaking dogs people all the time. So I think he's just so unassuming, but people are finally realizing like, oh shit, like this guy is a serious problem, you know? But yeah, what a fight, huh?
So good. I thought back and forth. And people now with the result are like, oh, I thought Izzy looked good. I thought there was a lot of
He looked
moments and
great.
rounds that Izzy looked awesome and went back and forth. And Israel Adesanya has said it afterwards. He did like a little interview on his YouTube. Like Dricus is stubborn. He just doesn't know how to lose. Like he doesn't like there's just moments in the fight that you can kind of give up or like, you know, they say be broken or be broken. He doesn't. He just doesn't do
break,
that. And he wins in every little minor moment and he never stops. So just shout out to Dricus. But we got Dakota in the waiting room. Let's go to him. We'll go back to UFC 305. Dude, this is someone that we've been in that circle for a long time. Very good friends with the Dawsons. You know how much we absolutely love and adore L. And then, of course, we are huge Grant Dawson people here in Fight Bananas. So let's get Mr. Dakota Bush here for the very first time in Fight Bananas land. Dakota, what's up, brother?
How's it going?
Going good, my man. How are you?
Feeling great, man. Just got done out of the gym. A little light sparring today. No injuries. You know, good, quick, clean fight. So I'm just back at it.
Wait. So you get a first round win. You're back at it already. You're back at it. ATT just doing work.
Just doing work.
That's how it's done. That's how champs get it done, man.
That's a savage right there, bro. That's a savage, man.
So you fought on Friday, right?
Correct.
And it looks like you defended your title?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Was that your first defense?
Yeah, it was. Yep.
So how did that compare to like winning it and then having to defend it?
You know, it didn't feel any different to me. You know, it was just another fight, honestly. Being prepared in the best room in the world, honestly, just making the walk was so much, you know, it was my first like true full camp at ATT, a full 8-10 weeks here. And just everything lined up. Like me and Grant all week were like, the flights were smooth. The weight cut was hands down the easiest weight cut I ever had. Recovery was even better. We're just waiting for something to go wrong. God forbid it's the fight. And it was a smooth fight. I mean, it was just, I think it's a testament of all the hard work and the preparation that's done here at ATT.
One thing that I love that Maddie's husband used to say, Ross Levine, Karate Combat World Champion. I loved it. And he actually just posted it because Duplessis just used to say it. He never said he defended the title. Like there was something about defense and defending it. Something about like, I'm going to fight for the world champion again. Did you have that mindset at all? Or do you actually like that, hey, no, this is mine, I'm going to defend it? Something about like your home, you're defending your home. Do you have that mindset of defending the championship or kind of winning the championship again?
You know, for me, as a goal-wise, I want to be back in the UFC. That's my number one goal, what I'm chasing. So that was just a step to get back for me. And that's how I was just visualizing it is, you know, let's just string together a great performance, worry about that, worry about my effort and my attitude, and everything else will take care of itself.
I got one, and then Maddie, you can jump on the next. Do you think this is that performance to get you there? Do you first round rear naked choke, a high level fighter? You know, I think this is 5 in a row, if I'm not wrong. I'm sorry.
Correct.
I do think it's 5. Do you think this is it? Is this that fight?
I think so. I really think so. Was speaking with management today and yesterday about it, and we're just trying to get our hands on the video and, you know, send that over to Sean and the guys, and just hoping, you know, that's going to be able to put me at the top of the list for a short notice or whatever pops up.
Yeah, I mean, you had a little run in the UFC and it didn't go your way. So now we're on the rebuild process. 5 fights in a row. That's pretty solid. What do you think has changed the most since your last run with the UFC and your potential new one? How much have you evolved, do you think?
Night and day. It's just the you know, everyone says it, but the maturity, you know, just understanding that 15 minutes is a long time. You don't have to get guys out of there in the first 2 minutes. And I felt like I was always like that, you know, in my UFC fights. I'm like looking for the finish instead of, you know, letting the finish just come to me. And I think just being here, you know, in the room with the highest level, especially at 55ers, you know, this is the deepest gym in the world for 55ers. And
insane.
Just knowing that I compete with these guys on a daily basis, and, you know, they understand and they know that I belong in the UFC. It's just, we need the guys in the UFC to realize that as well.
Who was in your corner this weekend?
Grant was, and then my coach back home, Patrick Smith.
Nice. What's Grant like in the corner? Dying to
That guy's
know.
pretty cool. That guy's pretty cool. I like that guy.
He's amazing. He's so calm. Me and Grant, we know each other so well.
That's awesome.
We've trained together for years, and just the lingo, our game styles, like our game plans, our fight styles are super similar. And Grant understands like everything I'm gonna do and vice versa. So he just gives me the key things I need to hear, and he's calm in the corner. It's not like yelling and barking at
Yeah.
you. It's
I
just
feel like he would be such a matter of fact kind of guy. Like, all right, listen up. Here's what you gotta do.
exactly like I remember this past fight. Just I threw a lead leg head kick, and he's like, both feet on the ground. We're not throwing anything unless it's a low rider, which is a calf kick.
Right.
And it was working perfectly. Like he sees things, and he's so analytical, and
Yeah.
he's such a high fight IQ that he translates it well into the corner.
That's awesome.
I know Grant's a big McDonald's guy. Say something else to the audience. You got a lot of time with Grant if it's in the gym or outside the gym and traveling. There's nothing like traveling with someone. I've traveled with his husband Elle lately a lot. There's nothing like traveling. There's just little things and ticks of things you do that you wouldn't have, right?
Nuances.
What is something about Grant that the masses doesn't know? You're like, oh, this is a good one. This is something about Grant Dawson that maybe the mass doesn't know about it.
Yeah, you hit it. The McDonald's for sure.
Okay.
That's one.
He loves it. He's
He
like
does.
a freak about it.
He's a McDonald's guy, Jack's Pizza, and zebra cakes.
Zebra
cakes. I didn't know
cakes.
that.
Oh yeah, that's his go-to.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't even know those were still a thing.
Dude, how did and he makes here's another here's a grandism. I just stayed with him 2 weeks ago. I don't know how he makes 155. Grant is humongous in the best way possible. He's so big. People don't realize like how big his shoulders is, how thick and wide he is. Dude, Grant's a big guy. Like he's big.
Yes, he's just like I put it in words all the time. Is he's dense. Like he's just
yeah. I agree.
He's not fat. He's not out of shape. He's just a dense guy, and we walk around very similar. It's just in the room. It's crazy when you feel him on you. It's a different presence than you can explain than anybody in the room. He's like one of those weighted blankets. You just can't get them off.
God, that's like my worst nightmare. Oh my God. So it sounds like zebra cakes is a guilty pleasure for Grant. But what about you? What is your guilty pleasure?
Oreos probably. I love Oreos.
College. Wait, single or double?
I like the double stuff, but you can't go wrong with the OGs.
Absolutely not. Double or nothing. Double or nothing every time.
No.
Every
single.
time.
A ridge.
Get out of here with that noise.
I'm more of a, it's like a nostalgia thing. So like the Halloween ones, even though they're flavored the same, but the orange cream, it's something different.
Oh God,
classic.
that hits. That's right around the corner, guys.
It is.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Well, all right. Let's get us back on, dude. This is fun. We can talk about food all day long too. You just fought. You just got the weight cut, so we can go.
He said double.
Yeah, man, I'm a single guy. Because I like a lot of milk. I'm like 75% milk, 25% cookie. So that's,
all right.
that's
last thing on the Oreo, and we'll move on. When I'm feeling like real fat, you know what you can do? Take the Oreos, just crunch that shit up, throw it on some vanilla ice cream.
Oh,
amazing. Amazing.
Yeah,
home run. All right, continue.
All right. I was gonna say, Dakota. So if you keep the weight down, and I know if the UFC is the goal, are you? I love the Contender Series. Huge Contender Series guy. If they offered you a Contender Series, would you take it, or do you think you're above the Contender Series and you're kind of waiting for that short notice UFC fight, or even a full camp UFC fight, kind of a 4-fight deal, 2-fight deal?
Right. Obviously, that's what we would want.
Yeah.
But if they call for the Contender Series and it's a great matchup, and I'm for it. I truly don't think they want me on the Contender Series just because I guess I feel like I'm a prospect killer. They don't want the up and coming guys to have to fight a vet necessarily, and I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think a UFC vet's ever fought on the Contender Series previously yet. So
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but
No,
if
you're
they
probably
called, I
right.
would definitely hop on.
Dakota, can we talk about this? Can we talk about your fight name, Harry? Can we
We can.
what? Why?
So there's a little backstory behind it too.
Okay.
My grandpa and my uncle, their names are Harold.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they would be called Harry Bush. And when I was a kid growing up, my uncle's friends giving me crap, like they call me Little Harry, and it kind of rang, growing up. I never would have used it as a nickname. And then fighting, my first nickname I ever used, honestly, was George W. That was the first one I used.
That's good.
That's great.
That is
That's
good.
great. All right, now that I know it's like a family thing, that's
Yeah.
cool.
No, I'm cool with it. Dude, did you so Charles Bennett, I was just at Island Fights 2 weeks ago, and Charles Bennett just got his first win in a long time. Long time.
Right.
And did you see his Instagram handle? And Fight as Jonathan posted about his Instagram handle. It is not okay for kids to hear.
It is not safe for work.
Yeah, it
Right.
is not safe for work. It's about a female hair down there.
Right.
It is pretty wild. Pretty wild.
Yeah, I seen someone interviewing him too, post fight.
Yeah.
And the guy's wild. He's just
wild.
he's a menace
really
to
is.
the fight game.
He really is.
He is wild. It's
Oh my god.
he after so he kind of warmed up in the ring, and I was kind of getting my stuff ready, kind of getting locked in a little bit and whatever. He comes to me, he's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna throw that jab out there pretty good tonight." I'm like, "All right, Charles, sounds good." And he's like, "Let the people know." I'm like, "Sounds good, brother. Sounds good." He just kept on going. And I was like, "All right." I just thought it was so funny, how he said it too. It was just so that's what he was gonna do.
Yeah, matter of fact.
Let the jab go early.
So matter of fact.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Well, Dakota, congrats on so that was your first title defense, correct?
Correct. Yep.
So congrats on the first title defense. So now it sounds like we're just kind of in the waiting game right now, right?
Yeah, it's the worst part, the lingo between. But I'm in a good spot. I feel like really the past 4 fights, they all went to decision, and I was still waiting, hopefully, but now I feel in a much better place to know that I got a good finish over a very tough opponent. And,
Yeah, that kid was good.
That's awesome.
It feels a little different this time. Maybe it's not, but to me it does. But we're looking, to get something else on the books probably around November. Just in case it doesn't call, I have something to be ready for. Just keep on knocking on the door.
I love it, man. I
like
love it.
that.
Well, as soon as you do get the good news, give us a call and we'll talk again.
Oh, a little slide into those DMs, Dakota. Slide into the DMs. We'll get the artwork for you. We got you. Now, Rook, I want to pick your brain on something for sure. I thought it was the fight of the night. It was one of my favorite fights in the last 2, 3, 4 months. I loved it since probably Max and Gaethje. Talking about Gamrot and Hooker. Incredible fight. Awesome fight back and forth. Felt like Gamrot was winning the beginning of the fight, started to slide. And also, Dan Hooker's just like a different guy right now. He's like,
He really is.
Here's my analogy is Dan Hooker's pulling the Charles Oliveira. He's just different. He's going into these firefights and he's become a different man and he feels good about it. It's so weird. Where did you watch it? I know you were kind of fighting on Friday. Did you watch it live? How did you feel about the fight?
Yeah, me and Grant watched it, and same thing. I thought the beginning of the fight was great. I think it changed when Gamrot got dropped. I think it was towards the end of the first round.
Yeah.
And I think he could never really, get his wheels back under him.
Mm-hmm.
But man, like you said, Dan Hooker I remember, I don't know if it was between the first and second or second and third, he's sitting on the stool and he was loving it.
Oh,
and I looked at Grant, I'm like, that's scary. When a guy just went through the fire and he's there and he's not going away. But yeah, it was
he
a
was
phenomenal
laughing
fight.
in enjoyment.
You remind me of the Joker. the Joker, he's getting punched by Batman. He's kind of laughing about it. You reminded me of the Joker. I'm like, dude, how can you fight this guy? How can you punch this guy? It's wild. He's He's the 5th ranked lightweight right now. It's wild. Like I felt like people gave up on Dan Hooker 18 months ago in a way, and now he's back. He's in the mix. He's in the
Right.
mix.
Totally.
Like you said, me and Graham were talking. They throw him in, let's say Gaethje or somebody next, and shoot, he could be in it. He goes out there and puts a great fight on, finishes someone. He could be fighting for the belt next. You never know in this division. It's so crazy, and with Gamrot losing, that kind of sets it at idle a bit because if Gamrot would have went out there and beat Hooker, he could have been fighting Armin for the interim belt or something. You just never know. It's crazy how this division pans out on just one fight.
Yeah.
The fight I want to see, and I think you're going to agree with me completely, Dakota. So Dan was ranked 11th, 12. Dude, every lightweight, 10 through 17 are monsters, complete monsters. So Dan, someone had to give him that opportunity, and he won, moved up to 5. So I would love if Dan would give up someone that opportunity. Our dear friend Grant's fighting like in 7 weeks. Grant's going to hot knife butter, gets a 2nd round TKO. Then we see Grant and Hooker back in February, Sydney, Australia. That's the fight.
I'm here for it. That's a great matchup.
I'm here for that.
Matchmaking, commentary. I do it all, Maddie. I do it all.
I'm saying.
You're just a man of many talents. Thank God you're not the fighter, though.
That is true.
God.
That is true. Did you see my brother surprise me? I jumped like a cat.
I love it.
Crazy. Crazy. I was going to say, Dakota, any last things? Anything else you want to say? Any sponsors you want to shout out? Any family members you want to thank? Is there a girlfriend from high school you want to say, hey, I'm better than you now? Anything else you want to say?
Look at me now.
There's this one girl, right? No. Just, I can't thank everyone at ATT enough, all the coaches and training partners. Just they truly, make the ships sail smoothly when it comes to fight week and the preparation. And my wife, she holds down the fort with our 2 kids while I'm gone, and it's she probably sacrifices more than I do. So I'm super grateful for her, and just on to the next. Hopefully it's in the big boy stage somewhere. Hopefully in the next week or 2, whenever I'm ready to jump in.
Let's go. Well, definitely let us know when you get the good news. And Dakota, it's always nice to chat. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Hey, you're the man, Dakota. We'll talk soon, all right, brother?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Dakota Bush. First time on the show. I love it.
Love it. That's so exciting when you have that fight streak, that winning streak, and it's right there. The moment is coming. It's right there. It's so cool. So it looks like Karisa Maxwell is joining us in about 20 minutes. So until then, there's so much more we can talk about for UFC 305. I need to bring this card up. And first of all, Casey O'Neill with the style points with her.
There was multiple people that I saw. So, I don't know about you, Maddie. We at the Van Auken House were super into the Olympics. We were all in for the Olympics. So I saw a lot of people were they thought it was, they didn't understand it. They were very negative about it. And I was like, no.
About the breakdancing?
Yeah.
Yes.
They didn't understand what she was doing. I was like, no, there's awesome
they didn't understand what Casey was doing.
Yes, correct.
Where have you been? Literally, you don't even have to watch the Olympics. That breakdancer went mega viral for being the biggest anomaly of the Olympics ever. Unreal. But yes, huge style points for Casey and a big win for her. That's exciting.
What word did you say? Anomaly?
Anomaly? Is that a new word for you?
Dude, you are amazing. You are amazing.
Anomaly. Definition. Adjective?
Does that mean
It means a mystery. You know what? Anomaly. Definition.
Yeah, give it to me. I want it. I'm gonna use it with Jake Paul in the press conference.
When something is unusual compared to similar things around it, it's an anomaly. It's irregular.
Okay, I like it. I'm in.
Jake Paul is an anomaly.
I'm gonna say it to him. I'm really 48 hours away. I'm like, hey, Jake.
Oh, perfect.
Anomaly,
Tis. Yeah, Tisser explained it way better. 1 in a million. You're 1 in a million. You're an anomaly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Shout out. This is my Dave, real quick.
Yeah.
This is my prom date. Mike Tisser right here. Senior prom, baby. Let's go.
Wait, that was your prom
Mike
date?
Tisser right here in the comments. That is my prom date.
Wow.
What's up, buddy? Well, no, we went as besties. It was so much fun. We had the best time. It was great. But yeah, huge Fight Bananas fan. Gotta love it. Okay. So let's get back to this card before we run out of time. Let's see. Junior Tafa. Oh, I mean, we gotta touch upon this whole verbal tap, if you will. To me, very cut and dry. You screamed in pain. That is a verbal tap.
100%.
Done.
Yeah. It's funny that we should be on opposite sides so we can debate it. It's better for podcast or radio, right. But you're 100% right.
So cut and dry. Yeah, and I was so disappointed, and maybe there was just like a slight confusion with DC and what's his face?
Dominic Cruz.
But you guys are professional UFC fighters, and you're telling me that you don't know the definition of a verbal tap? I don't understand. Like, you're trying to sit there and be like, oh, the ref is taking away opportunities. What do you mean? Like, the ref has one job and one job only: to emulate the rules and make sure that the fighters don't get hurt. That's it. Yeah. If the fighter is screaming and writhing in pain, that is a verbal tap. Done. You're out of there. I was so disappointed in Tafa for being upset, first of all. And then, like, to have the commentators just not agree with it, I was like, come on, guys. Like, that's their job, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah. I don't know. That was a little weird to me. But the main card, absolute fire. I was watching from the comfort of my Airbnb in Nashville, going absolutely crazy watching this. Prates. Can we talk about Carlos Prates?
Yes.
Dude.
So we were doing the watch along, UFC 305 watch along. Our main man Michael and my little bro who surprised me for the kind of birthday bash we had. So it was awesome. We had a ton of fun. And this was like the fight the rest of the fights I felt good about one way or the other. This is the one I was intrigued about because Carlos to me is that guy like this, and it always happens. You're younger, probably more talented, better. But when you fight a veteran guy, it's like, is he going to break through? Is it too much too soon? Because sometimes the veteran guy just kind of beats you on being a veteran and being there before and on pay-per-view and being under the big lights. Carlos looked amazing. Like, he's really just so fun to watch. So many weapons. I thought he looked awesome. I can't wait for his next fight. Like, his next fight's a big, big fight.
He couldn't miss. Like, his cross was just like lethal. It was wild. And Lee isn't somebody that typically gets knocked down. I don't think he ever gets knocked down. So you have to consider, like, the power that's coming from Prates is something that needs to be on everybody's radar, because that was wild. Tai Tuivasa and Rosenstrike. You know, I didn't expect it to go to a decision, really. I don't know. That was kind of lackluster for me.
I got a feeling. So on Thursday, PFL Washington, D.C. has this great press conference. You got Francis Ngannou and Renan Ferreira and Jake Paul, Larissa Pacheco, Cyborg. I got a feeling we might see Tai Tuivasa at that press conference. Okay.
Why? Oh,
he's
done.
5 in a row, dude.
Yeah.
5 in a row. You're done.
Yeah, that sucks.
He's funny. He's entertaining. There are no hard feelings. I know that's going to sound cold. I just don't think you should be in the highest MMA organization in the world after losing 5 fights in a row. That's just my 2 cents. It's my 2 cents.
But that's fair, because this is the highest organization in the world, and there are a bunch of hungry wolves waiting in the wings behind you that are more than capable of winning fights. So if you can't put it together, it's a brutal sport, mentally, physically, spiritually, everything. But if you can't put it together, man, sorry, it's on to the next. Okay, now we can get to Gamrot and Hooker again.
So good. The fight of the night.
Oh!
Fight of the summer. So good.
I've always been, well, let me put it this way. I liked Dan Hooker. I was like, all right, he's fun to watch.
You've always been a fan of hookers, huh?
Always. Huge fan of hookers. Huge.
That's a real.
But when it comes to Dan, I was always like, yeah, I like him. Like, whatever. All right. Oh, he's on the card. Cool. Like, whatever.
I'm with you.
This fight, I am a fan of Dan Hooker now. Like, oh my God. And Chris, thank you. David didn't say anything.
Oh,
Just kidding. JK. He's now a blonde hooker. Yes, he is. I like my hookers blonde. What can I say?
they get paid more, I believe.
They do. They definitely have more fun in the cage. Anyway, so back to we can go on for days. We can go on for days.
Yep.
But I think one of the most dangerous fighters is a fighter that's enjoying himself.
Yeah.
Because not like, besides the fact like you have to take it seriously. You're a UFC fighter. Take it seriously. But the fighter that is enjoying themselves and having fun and not getting bogged down by the stresses of the fight game is a scary motherfucker. And that is Dan Hooker.
And
I was in shock.
I'm like so in agreement of everything you're saying, the same path. Like, always liked him, and he was always a part of a good card. Like when he fought Jalen Turner, I think it was actually UFC. We were out there, it was Vegas. It was International Fight Week of last year. We were there. Volkanovski and Yair was the card. It was Hooker versus Jalen Turner. Another great fight, and he was kind of losing at the beginning and kind of came back to win. And it's just like this, kind of like this really cool run. Of course, I said it last week on Tuesday's show. So I was like, guys, if you have like 22 minutes to spare anytime this week, go YouTube Dustin Poirier versus Dan Hooker. Like, it's one of the greatest fights ever. But now he's starting to have that fun and have that freedom and now win these fights. Like, get these close, lose the first round maybe and win. I don't know. Like, I don't know how far he can go. I don't know what's next. And I said it a couple times, and I know, it is what it is, guys. I'm not going to try to hide it. We're super pro Grant Dawson here. It is what it is. I want Grant to fight Dan next. I would love that fight. I actually think Grant is a kryptonite for Dan. I do think he's not the wrestling base of all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Slows him right down.
To give Dan his flowers, and this run is incredible. And whoever he fights next, I will be watching and I will be paying money for it. Cannot wait.
1,000%. I can't wait either. Awesome performance. Kai Kara France, Steve Erceg.
Real quick, Maddie, just real quick on the other side of it. What does Gamrot do next now?
Yeah, let me pull up the rankings here. Okay, so Gamrot moves down to 8. So that means he's near people like Chandler, who's off the books because he's still waiting for his pipe dream. Dariush, Holloway. Does he go? So now that he lost, I mean, he's not going to fight somebody ahead of him. He's not fighting Max Holloway because he's matched. Is Moicano's matched?
They're at ATT together.
Yeah. What about Fasiv? Rafael Fasiv?
Yeah, I can see that.
He just moved down in the rankings as well. I mean, RDA. Yeah. I don't know if is RDA matched up. Did Patty Pimblett just win? I'm like having a brain fart right now.
Yeah, he defeated Bobby Green.
Okay.
I like that. Gamrot versus Patty.
I don't mind that one.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so
I think it could be fun.
Gamrot versus Fasiv or Gamrot versus Patty.
It sucks because Gamrot's stock went down for sure. Just
dude, he was getting debated about literally fighting for an interim-y, fakey championship. Right. Like, he was right in that spot.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Comes at you fast.
It came fast for a lot of people on this card, I think. Yeah. I mean, Izzy's stock. I think his stock went way down, unfortunately. Listen, I wanted him to win, but
we're on the same brain length. I said it on the fight. He never main events a card ever again.
Oh, main event. Yeah.
Yeah. He never main events again.
Yeah.
Because he's like too big for a fight night. He's too big for
He's still gonna be on pay-per-view. He's still gonna be on the main card, but it's not gonna be. Damn,
he
you're
can't
so
fight
right.
for a championship again. He just lost 2 in a row champion. He never
That's
fights
fucking
again.
crazy. That's so. In what world are we living in? This is so crazy.
Wow.
We got to talk about Kai Kara France and Steve Erceg though, because that like blew my mind. Did not see that coming at all. Okay. I saw a world where Kai Kara France won. I just saw it being much closer because Erceg is a force to be reckoned with. Luckily, he has age on his side. He's young. He's up and coming. He's dangerous. But holy crap, Kai Kara France looked phenomenal for about the 20 seconds we saw him. It was crazy. That was a fun fight.
And the UFC loves, especially in the flyweight division, they love finishers. And that's what Kai Kara France, when he does win, he usually finishes. They love it. I would be shocked if he's not fighting for the championship next, or if they do have something in line for Pantoja. There's been this mysterious thing about him fighting that guy from Rising coming over. And, maybe Kai wants a 6-month break. Some of them do, some of them don't. He is fighting. Kai Kara France's next fight is for the UFC flyweight championship. No doubt about it.
You think? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think, for sure.
I don't think I know.
I don't want to be that guy, but I just.
No, I'm totally here for it. I mean, he's fresh. He's not injured. He's probably right back in the gym today. Yeah, I can see that too. DDP and Izzy, baby.
So good.
What happened, man? I mean, Izzy looked phenomenal. He was doing all the right things.
Yeah.
He was striking beautifully. He was getting out of the way. And then he gets clipped. And it was like something got into his head. And he became different. Like, he started second guessing almost, And then it was like, oh, let me be a tough guy and pull a Max Holloway. Bro, what are you doing? Like, he was turning weird. He was making weird defense choices. I was like, bro, what are you doing? I don't know.
I was just reading the comment. Two things. One, of course, you're fighting a guy like Dricus du Plessis for around 15 to 18 minutes. You're tired. You're mentally tired. You're physically tired. You start to take short ends and short corners and shit like that happens. That's a part of it for sure. And then two is, like you said, there was just Dricus fights in this such a weird manner. He just doesn't fight like anyone else. He's kind of such a funky offensive style. And it's like, I can't put it into words the correct way. It's just like, it almost makes you fight a different way. Izzy doesn't fight the way Izzy wants to fight because Dricus is fighting this hunky, jerky style. It's just
totally
really weird thing.
And it goes back to what I was saying earlier about he's so unorthodox, and it's almost like he's just like throwing to throw, but there is a method behind his madness at all times. And
for sure.
Yes, it looks like he's about to freaking pass out at the end of each round because he's so tired. But he just gets this second shift every time he needs it. It's wild. So DDP, champ status. So killer.
Talking about a second shift. Let's talk about someone who's working their tail off just in Hollywood, Florida. Now she's in Washington, D.C. I can't wait to fly up. Going to say, hey, like I said, I'm going to ask her about the drink thing here. That's going to be my first question. We're not even going to talk about Jake Paul, Brandon Lochner, Impic Kasanganai. The first question is going to be about the drink thing. Let's talk about the one and only Karisa Maxwell. Karisa, how are you?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good, friend. How are you?
Good. I'm here in DC. The craziness of the week has already begun. I'm well overdue for a nap, but I'm happy to be here. So
that sounds like fight week for sure.
Appreciate it. Are you at the hotel? Are you at the PFL hotel right now?
Yes, I am. So if you see random fighters or corners trying to, crash the call, it's beautiful.
I got my confirmation last night. I cannot wait.
Yes, it's a very, very classy establishment. So seeing everybody walk around in their gym gear is pretty hilarious. But
that's great.
So right off the rip, Karisa, we joked about it. Me and Maddie at the very beginning of the show. I said, because you have been so cool and so friendly here to Fight Bananas, I was like, hey, when I see you in Washington, D.C., I'm going to buy you a drink. I would love to buy you a drink. Maddie's like, no, you have to buy her 2 drinks. I was like, whoa. I can only buy her 1 drink. That's very gentleman.
Pick up the tab, you know?
What is that? What is it, a drink or is it multiple drinks? Where is that?
I mean, I have never been known to just have 1 spicy margarita. It's usually 2 or 3. Who pays for them is always up in the air, but I do enjoy a good fight week spicy marg.
Now, to be clear, gentlemen, she is a taken lady.
Yes.
So
she did.
Nobody gets it.
Last week or a couple weeks ago on the show was the whole talked about the wedding and all that. That kept you busy for a long time. So there, for sure.
Yeah, it's a full-time job.
Yeah, that's for sure. Talking about staying busy, there's so much to talk about going forward, but that's just gonna go back just for a second. PFL Hollywood, beautiful casino. You're in the Qatar. Ipika Sanganai is winning fights like always under the PFL banner. Give us a real quick 30, 45-second synopsis on PFL Hollywood.
PFL Hollywood was absolutely chaotic. There were so many influencers and celebrities and fighters that were there. Everybody thought they were more important than the next. It was overwhelming. We had all of our executives there. It was just a really fun, exciting night. I think it may have been our rowdiest crowd yet. They were definitely indulging in multiple spicy margs leading up to the main card.
Brawls afterwards? Maybe a couple brawls in the casino floor?
The fights continued after the main event for sure. I know everybody saw that clip, but yeah, it was a really great night. I mean, that card, the lightweights and the light heavyweights, every time we have an event with them, it is probably the hardest for me personally because I'm like so close with all of those fighters and I don't want any of them to lose. And I'm always so happy, but equally so sad. So especially, seeing who advances to the championships, that was definitely a tough one. I never like to lose, but so excited for Ipika Sanganai. So it was an incredible event, and we're all so tired, overwhelmed, and now here we are having to do it all over again, plus a pay-per-view press conference on top of it.
I love it. Matt?
I mean, that's just wild. The PFL schedule is just so intense, but it's exciting at the same time. When it came to the fight after the fights, do you know how PFL handled it? Like, did anything happen with the 2 fighters involved? Like, do you have any intel as to what exactly went down? Oh no.
There you go, dude. The PFL doesn't want this question answered. They kicked her off.
They're like, yo, get her off.
There you go.
The hotel service is always a tough one. That's a tough one. It happens. But that girl is a workhorse, and it sounds like she needs a spicy marg and a nap. So hopefully she'll come back. But in the meantime, that's so exciting. You get to go to Washington.
I know. I'm kind of pumped for it.
Yeah. I mean, a bunch of studs are going to be there.
Yeah. And Washington, D.C., I guess there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Is this like a big season in Washington right now?
It is a pretty big season in Washington, and I just want you to be careful. I feel like I need to say that. Like, I don't know. Like, our country's in a really weird place right now. Like, I think going to Washington, just like, I don't know, be careful.
Yeah.
Don't leave the hotel if you don't have to.
The hotel looked amazing. I'm me. I'm I can stay in that hotel forever. I can go right there. There's got to be a bar /
I'm
food
sure.
area.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
A classy joint like that definitely has its own bar.
And the PFL, they do a really good job. I guess the arena where it's at, the press conference and everything is at just right down the road. So
yeah.
What's up, Chris? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure we've got a good Wi-Fi connection.
Okay.
There's
it's always
a conference going on too, so I think we're sharing the network with other people.
Hotels
Dude, look
are
at
tough.
that hotel. Look at that.
Look it up.
Woo!
Okay.
There we
It's
go.
fancy.
I'm bringing my tank top. Is there a pool there?
If there is, I haven't seen it. There is a very nice gym, but There's one thing, little side note, like I don't know why I'm terrified about working out in front of fighters, just because I know they're just so much better at it than I am. So last night I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym, get my workout in. And I walk in and there's nobody in there, and then immediately after, like 4 fighters and their whole corners come in and they're like, being all
Yeah. Ugh.
grunty and manly, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go. So,
Oh, come on. Assert
my
your
workout.
dominance, Karisa.
No. I will triple down on that, Chris. I'm a man. I'm a very confident guy.
I don't need them correcting my form.
No, I feel that. Like, I don't need you to tell me how to squat or anything. Thanks. See you later. No, I get that. But moving forward,
a couple quick ones, and we'll let you run. I know the Wi-Fi and everything. Let's talk about this press conference. Jake Paul, Francis Ngannou, Ferreira, Larissa Pacheco, who I will say I feel like is being overlooked right now in this press conference. Cyborg's first kind of time under the banner. Give us same thing, a minute and a half about this huge press conference. Uh-oh.
I think it might be a delay.
Thank you. You froze. No, you're good. I think I got you.
Okay.
Yeah. So this press conference is absolutely insane, and you're right. Like Larissa Pacheco and Renan Ferreira are being looked. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Darn it.
Oh man.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Stupid Wi-Fi. Larissa Pacheco and Renan Ferreira are absolutely being looked over in a sense where like they're not the household names, right? Everybody's talking about Francis, everybody's talking about Chris Cyborg, but having Jake Paul host this press conference, we're going to get a whole nother demographic, as you very well know, tune in to see what this fight is all about. And I'm kind of okay with Renan and Larissa being the underdogs and being unknown, because I think that there's a really good possibility that they could come in and shock the world. Renan he's got such a great personality on top of just being this behemoth of a fighter, of a human. He's so large, he's so nimble, he's so flexible. But, just like a lot of fighters have, if you don't speak English, it's really hard for people to know who you are. So that's, I kind of got to do that with him this week, to get his personality out there. But I think once people really get to meet him, he's going to get a lot of fans. And, Jake Paul just makes everything a spectacle wherever he goes. So I'm excited for this press conference. How we're going to go from official weigh-ins to the press conference to ceremonial weigh-ins with all of the promo shoots and everything in between is kind of, again, spicy margs will be needed. But
okay, I got you. So 2 spicy margs. Fight Bananas has got you on the 2 spicy margs. Thursday night, after all that, we got you. With that being, do you have content plans with Jake Paul Thursday or Friday? Is he staying for the fights for Friday?
Yes, he will be at the fights. He'll definitely be there for the main card. I know that he has a ton of obligations for promotional materials for the pay-per-view fight. I'm going to try to get my hands on him to do some, fun, more laid-back social stuff if I can. But this is, it's crazy. My first fight ever with PFL was the Champs vs. Champs card. And that was pretty high profile as it was. But now for this to be our first super fight, working with Francis, I got to meet him in Saudi, but I haven't really worked with him yet. I haven't met Chris Cyborg. I haven't met Larissa Pacheco. So this is kind of all going to be very new. I did work with Jake Paul at DAZN, so at least I don't have to worry about that. But it's definitely, everybody's just kind of on edge, on their toes about what this is going to be like on top of the chaos of a playoff fight week.
I got one more than Maddie, if you want to jump. It was so lucky. It was last year. It was in Atlanta. So remember, it was the whole Francis and John Jones kind of like face-off. I was lucky enough to be at that event. They brought Francis in. They didn't tell any of the media members. And it was like an hour beforehand. And they're like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And I got talked to. They brought me in. They're like, Dave, you're going to talk with Francis Ngannou first. And it was just like one of those things. 8 minutes beforehand, they're like, Dave, go. Francis Ngannou, behind the scenes, was the nicest man I've ever talked to, looked you in the eyes, was very kind, you can just tell, like, when some people are putting it on and off, you know what I mean? But you can just tell he was very cordial and very real about it. It was awesome. I always was a big fan after Francis Ngannou after that. He was just very, very nice, very well spoken.
Yeah, so the first time I met him was in Saudi Arabia. It was right before he fought Anthony Joshua. And we actually had to go to his house to set up for his interview on ESPN, where he was going to be announcing that he would be fighting the winner of Henan Ferreira, Ryan Bader. And he was very much in the zone because he had a huge fight with, former world champion coming up. And I was so scared, like not even in not in a starstruck way, but in a I'm so sorry, I'm in your space. I'm just gonna be over here by the wall. And you could tell he was, not that he didn't want to stare, but he was very much I'm doing you a favor, kind of doing this because I'm in the zone. Totally understandable. So the next night when he came out to the fight, I was kind of expecting him to be the same way. But he was very oh, hello, hi everybody. He was so nice. I'm okay, even though it was still, fight mode for him, he was happy to be there. So I'm hoping he hasn't quite gone into fight week mode yet. And I can get the, fun Francis, but we'll see. I mean, either way, it's going to be insane having all of these fighters here in one place and dealing with all of them.
That's the cool part about working in the fight business, though, is we get an opportunity to see these fighters in a whole different light, and we get to see, the fight side, but we also get to see their personalities come through. And that's one of the best parts. But when you're looking towards what's coming up for PFL, so many things, what is your prediction for fight of the night this weekend?
Ooh, I expect the rematch between Busayev and Ramazanov. There's all these names we've got so many Russians in the playoffs, and I'm
they're all welterweights. There's all 4 welterweight names are
I know. It's
I got practice.
I know. I don't know how the
I go with the first name usually.
Exactly. Yeah, Shamil and Murad.
There you go.
Yeah, so I think that rematch is going to be pretty exciting. But the main event, Brendan Loughnane, this is his 3rd fight this season, his 3rd main event, and each one has been really exciting. And Kai Kamaka has continuously put on a really good show. So I expect that fight to be pretty intense. I'm excited for it. And, it's good to see Naaman Gracie back filling in for Don Madge, especially since he beat Don Madge. So hoping that Naaman has that opportunity to really show off his skills in the co-main event too. So I think it's going to be a really fun night. It's always funny. I feel bad by the time we get to this 3rd week of fights. I'm always who's fighting? What are we doing?
Right. Well, the schedule is just so insane. The tournament style just makes for a crazy schedule. So,
you're so right, Maddie. It's so much going at once. But then one thing I've always kind of said, I've never been I've told people behind the stage, and I guess we're going to talk to Murray at PFL kind of in between there. I feel like they need to fill in some gaps because sometimes I feel like the PFL goes away for too long. You as a consumer, you can't go away from us so long, or we'll find something else. We'll
Don't leave us.
We're bad. Americans, we need something all the time.
Yeah.
And if you go away for 6 weeks, it's I got to do something. I need something on Friday night.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy because obviously this is the first year that we've been with Bellator as well. So trying to get those schedules to work out. I think we were in Salt Lake City when the Dublin fight was happening, and we're all wait, we want to watch that fight, but we can't because we got our fight and we're doing things. So ideally, the schedule is alternating between PFL fights and Bellator fights. I'll be going to San Diego for that card, which is exciting. But no, I agree. It's weird. You go from 3 weeks on a road for people working for the promotion, of course, 3 weeks on the road, back to back, traveling circus. And then we're home for 5 weeks. And I'm I don't know what to do with my hands.
That's funny.
We need a little more balance.
Yeah, I think Elle, I don't know if you talked to her in Hollywood. Elle is going to be out there in San Diego, so it's crazy. You are you are getting the full Fight Bananas family feel. You are seeing. I know I was going to be supposed to be in Hollywood. Some awesome family stuff happened for me, so I decided to stay back. But I'm excited. I'll be flying out tomorrow. Anything else, Chris? Anything else? Anything behind the scenes? I saw you walking around Washington D.C. with Brandon Loughnane. That had to be fun. Is there anything else popping off that you want to tell the fans about?
Yeah, so tonight we're partnering with a charity while we're here in DC called Fight for Children, which is a nonprofit that provides funding and resources for over 40 organizations and sports recreational facilities throughout the greater Washington area. So tonight I'm going with Kai Kamaka and Ray Cooper III to the Alexandria Boxing Club, and they're going to teach a sparring class to some kids.
So cool.
Yeah, very, very excited for that. Brendan Loughnane is actually on Good Morning Washington right now. So working on that little promo. And then the chaos starts tomorrow. And like, I can't even stress the word chaos enough. If you see my schedule, I'm supposed to be at 3 different places at once at the same time. So it's going to be a true magic trick tomorrow. But if people are in the Washington, D.C. area, the press conference for the pay-per-view is free and open to the public at 1:00 on Thursday. So highly recommend coming out, getting to see the fighters that are fighting on that card, of course, getting to see Jake Paul. So it's going to be a really fun, exciting day. And, you know, of course, we want to get the fans as involved as possible.
I love it. I love it. This morning, my beautiful daughter, she wanted water for like her sippy cup. So I filled it up with water. When I see you in Washington, D.C., I'm going to have a sippy cup for you. It's going to have nothing but spicy margaritas in it. So I'm going to have a sippy cup, spicy marg. I'm like, here you go, friend. We'll knock it out.
Done.
We'll have a good time. There you go.
Just make sure it has a tahine rim and I'm in.
That's fantastic.
I love it. The best, the uber talented Karisa Maxwell. We'll see you in Washington in a couple days. Guys, the press conference is Thursday. Jake Paul, Francis Ngannou, Ferreira, Larissa Pacheco, and Cyborg, one of the greatest, if not the greatest female fighter of all time. And then Friday nights, the fights, ESPN Plus. Cannot wait. Karisa, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
There we go. Karisa Maxwell, Washington, D.C. Dude, she just has like her energy, right? Just as like.
She's great. Well, she's very real. You know, she's not so like, you know, not, she's not an MMA robot. She's a real human. Yeah. So that's cool. Gotta love that.
Who won the brawl? I saw video of Marvin. Dude, yeah, that video of Marvin Vettori and Brendan Allen. And let's just say this. And I don't want to talk about it a lot because Fight Bananas talked to both men that were involved in this behind the scenes. And let's just say they're not really allowed to talk more about it.
Yeah.
Let's just kind of say that.
That makes sense. Because you know that video came out and they both got a call. They both got a phone call being like, y'all are dumb. Don't talk about it.
It's a good question, Sean. Very, very good question. Really wonder how Francis is going to come back to MMA. It looks like being knocked out of boxing. That is true. Like when people lose in MMA, especially in a knockout, people are like, oh, how are they going to come back? What are they going to do? No one's thinking about this. That's how he actually lost his last boxing. He got TKO'd like twice, kind of because he got knocked out, stood back up, and then got knocked out again. Right. That's a very good point by our man, Sean Sterling. Very good point.
Yeah. Sean, thank you so much for the lovely compliment. So here's what's happening. Okay, guys. Thank you. My hair looks fantastic. Thank you so much. You're glowing. Okay, here's what's happening, guys. Before we let Gillian into the room, I actually give myself time to get ready now. That's what's happening. I've adjusted my schedule where I'm not riding around like a freaking chicken with its head cut off. I take time to get myself ready now. And I have great news coming. We're just going to leave it at that. But
oh, you got news coming?
Yeah, just like really, really cool news coming that like is making me glow from the inside out. So no, I'm not pregnant. I'm not pregnant. But like I have very good news coming. Just wait for next week's show. Done.
Wait, you're going to announce it on next week's show?
Yeah.
There we go. Wow, we love it. We love good news here in Fight Bananas, and someone that always brings good news just with her smile and how she communicates with us almost every week here on the Fight Bananas show. Every Tuesday, 1:00 is Fight Bananas time, 2:00 is Savage time. One and the only Gillian the Savage Robertson. What's up, G?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
We're living, man. We're living.
What a tease, Maddie. Next week, I gotta wait.
I know. We can talk on the off-air show. But it's gotta wait. It's gotta wait. Yeah, for sure. Question about your hair. How often are you getting your hair done? Because it always looks so perfectly red.
So I have a secret about that.
Ooh.
I usually get my roots done once every like usually honestly before my fights. My hairdresser always gets mad at me because I wait too long to get it done. But I use shampoo and conditioner. It's a color depositing shampoo and conditioner, so it dyes my hair, like it keeps my hair bright red.
That's
So
cool. Okay.
yeah, whenever I use the conditioner, it just like brightens it back up, or else I'd have to get it done probably like every 3 weeks.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so many people get the color in and then it just fades so fast, but yours never fades. So that's a good secret.
Got the
Dave,
secrets.
use some of that for yourself. I don't know.
What are you
That's
trying
salt. That's salt and pepper goodness over there.
Dude, it's a lot of salt lately.
That's
a lot of pepper. Yeah.
Salt.
Salt.
Salt's
Salt.
the white one.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of salt. Should I? I don't know.
Anyway, Gillian, what's up? What's new? You're in fight camp. That's exciting.
Maybe if I can, I don't know. I think it's this eye. One of my eyes. I know I have this one. Yeah, little black
Oh,
eye
yeah.
there.
Little dinger.
Yeah, it's officially back in fight camp then.
Yeah.
Before talking about G, and I'm a pro talking about Gillian person for sure. I think she knows that. I want to talk about your teammate who had one of the sickest head kick knockouts in the year. It was unreal. Anthony Pettis fighting championship. Get him in the UFC. Can we get him in the UFC? Can you talk about him? Name, Instagram handle, shout him out.
Roy Echeverria. I was absolutely jaw dropped. I expected it, obviously, like something amazing from him. All of his fights are always amazing. To have a absolutely viral knockout moment like that, that is absolutely huge for him. I literally texted him right after the fight. I was like,
it's on our IG handle, Maddie, if you want to see it. IG handle.
Okay.
Unbroken Roy is his IG.
Unbroken Roy.
Yeah. And yeah, I was just absolutely so happy for him. Texted him, I was like, just stay by the phone because Dana's gonna be calling any minute now.
Oh, I love that.
Has to.
Oh, I saw this. Okay. Yes. Wow. Yes. Incredible. That's such a sweet compliment to say to somebody.
Are you gonna hit it or no?
Oh, you want me to play it?
Yeah. Can you?
Yeah, let me get this.
You're so good at that.
Shit. Let me get this. Hold on. He's
John,
got
appreciate you, bro. Thanks, dude. So
he's got like
it's
a
funny you
bunch
say
here.
that. I'm starting. I used to go like far between haircuts, and now I'm starting to go more often. So I appreciate it, Sean. Thanks, dude.
All right, here we
go.
But
I think it was Sunday night, right, when that the fight happened. Roy?
All right, you ready for this? You can see this, right?
I think it was Saturday night, actually.
Oh, Saturday night. Okay.
Yeah.
You can see this, right?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Bring the shit only, baby.
Ooh.
I already know what's coming. Let's go. Come on, Nick.
Oh, he is down. That's crazy. Yikes.
Yeah. That was insane. I loved it. All right. There we go. Dude, that's what we do. We're always passing it forward. Back to Gillian. So yeah, we're in fight camp.
Folded like a lawn chair.
Huh?
He folded like a lawn chair.
For sure. Is it the kind of, I don't want to, how should I word this? With your opponent being who she is it kind of like, hey, do you feel like you need to add anything new to the game plan? Or if you're Gillian the Savage Robertson that night, you should be more than fine.
I guess every opponent we're adding something a little different to the game plan.
Okay.
Just whatever she's bringing to the table, we're gonna approach it in the correct manner. You know,
yes, that's smart.
So every fight I plan to approach them all differently, just to have. I feel like that's the problem with honestly a lot of I see it in female fights a lot. I guess it's probably male fights too. I'm just studying the female fights so much more. Where it's like so many of them just go out there and fight. It's not like they have a game plan. They don't have like a strategy to win the fight. They don't have like there's no thought process behind it. They're just going out there and being tough and fighting. And it's like, well, let's take the higher road on this. I want to make this easy for me. So how can we approach this smartly?
Mm-hmm.
When you say that, G, is it kind of, like I said, don't say anything about the game plan, of course, but I'm just saying in throwing it out there, like, so if she's weak with her back against the cage, or if she's weak in the middle of the octagon, or if she doesn't block leg kicks at all, is it like stuff like that? You find one or two absolute weaknesses and then just harp on that? Is it kind of like that?
I guess a little, like, say for my Michelle Watterson camp, one we knew what to expect with kicks. So all camp long, I was working defending kicks and countering kicks.
Yeah.
And then finding my shots in between. And also, like, with someone like Michelle, we expected me not to be able to get her down easy, or her to have very good balance on the feet. So we figured the upper body attacks would work better to get her to the ground. So it's like on all my takedowns, I transitioned from singles to upper body instead of staying on the legs, wrestling there, doing like just different ways we approach the fight, which honestly, like, doing the singles to the body wasn't me at the beginning of camp. I wasn't like, oh, I'm huge. Huge on this. I like this. This is going to be great. I just believed with what Dean said. He's like, this is what's going to work best for this fight because of this opponent. And I believed in him. And then once I got in the fight, I was like, oh, this was easy.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that.
Gillian, would you agree that that's kind of the difference between like a fighter and maybe a martial artist, where it's like a martial artist is going to go into a fight and read the room and like be more comfortable with maybe having to stray away from the game plan if that's what it takes to win, as opposed to just somebody that's going in and is like, I'm going to fuck you up. And then, you know, they're just brawling.
So Dean actually talks about how there's 4 different types of fighters. There's either an artist, an athlete, a technician, or a fighter. So
Love that.
For me, I would say I'm more of a technician. You know, I'm going to win fights off of being smarter, making better decisions, being precise in making those decisions. Where someone like Mike Perry is going to win fights off of being a fighter. You know, he's just going to have more fight. Even like Dricus this weekend, he just had so much more fight than Izzy. It wasn't like he was cleaner or like, was coming up with some crazy spinning shit or whatever. He just had a lot of fight in him and went out there and fought better than Izzy did.
I love that. What a good explanation. Shout out to Dean.
Can you do that 4 again?
A fighter, an athlete, an artist, or a technician.
Jeez.
He should write a book.
That's
great.
A post.
I'm like, I swear, some of the things he says, I'm like, it's just mind blowing all the time. I'm like, there's a reason why I work with him.
Right. Seriously.
For sure. All right. So I got multiple things. Of course, UFC 305, but I got 2 things in front of that. First and foremost, we talked about it last week on the show, even with James Lynch on it. I kind of threw it out there. I was like, hey, I'm hearing UFC Tampa's a thing. It is official. The UFC announced it, put it on artwork. Boom. Not even that. They announced, and I am hearing it's actually the main event. It is what it is, but I'm hearing Mackenzie Dern, Amanda Ribas is the main event. 12-14. I know it is close. Is there any chance one of those girls not feeling good? Tampa, Florida, close to home, too close?
Oh no. I'm like, that is way too close.
Okay. So we're getting the fight. We're getting the fight banana suite then. That's what we're doing. We're gonna get a suite.
Hell yeah.
In Tampa.
I'm down to go out there and get drunk with you guys. That.
Hell yeah.
Gummies and drinks. Gummies and drinks. There
exactly.
We go. Okay. All right.
I'm like, we're about 1 month after my fight there. That's perfect timing. It'd be like my last party before I go back into a camp.
Right,
you know?
exactly. So what are your thoughts on that matchup? That's an interesting one.
Haven't they fought before?
That's a good question. Let me see.
I think this is a second.
Let me see.
Ooh, I don't think they did, but maybe. Wow.
If it was a while ago.
For some reason, I think they have.
They have in 2019. She won a unanimous decision.
Who's she?
That's a good question. Amanda Ribas won.
Amanda Ribas beat Mackenzie?
Won by unanimous decision.
Wow. Because I'm thinking Mackenzie. Mackenzie's like, I feel like I love her. How she's looking lately.
I feel like, I was gonna say the trajectory of them has been a little bit different in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
For Mackenzie, you've continued to see her progress and get better, and especially this last fight, it really looked like how I was saying, a lot of girls just go out there and fight, and some girls approach it smart. It seemed like the first fight where she was like, I'm gonna be smart about this. I'm gonna go out there with a game plan. I'm not just gonna go out there and fight and like just all emotion. She actually went out there smart, which makes her a real player in the division, I feel like.
Yeah. I think this, now that I know that this is a matchup, I think it's going to play out. Like, I don't think it's going to be the same fight. Absolutely. I think they both evolved in separate ways, and I think it's going to be a very different matchup. So that's cool. Dave, I think you might have said something, but do you know where your fight is going to be, Gillian? Or we don't know yet?
It is
Apex.
going to be in Vegas. The Apex.
Vegas, the Apex. Oh. So are you on team I'm over Apex? Because there's a very divided like community. Some people
Grant
love
loves
the
it.
like
Grant loves
some
it.
people love it, some
Yeah.
people hate it. Where are
Grant
you?
loves it.
Yeah, I hate it. I absolutely love having fans there. I love the
Yeah.
energy there. I love the crowd. I just feel like I don't know, it's too like relaxed of a scenario. It's too chill of a scenario. Obviously, I've done it, I don't know, probably close to 10 times at this point
Yeah.
with between the Apex during COVID times, like Abu Dhabi, things like that. I fought without a crowd. It's just it's not the same though. I like the energy there. I like having the crowd there. It when I think I was saying last week when they first offered me this fight, it was supposed to be in Edmonton the week before, and then my opponent can't fight outside of the United States, I believe. So I'm like, she couldn't fight me in Canada. So I'm like, I was so excited for the Edmonton card, have the
Damn.
crowd there, and then it just got switched to the Apex,
Oh,
which
God.
same opponent, same matchup. It's still gonna be the same, but it's just it would have been so awesome to be in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm team over Apex. I am over the Apex. Like like the UFC has fuck you money. Like why like you're not saving money by using the Apex, you know? It's like people are more than willing to book UFC fights. Like I don't know.
Like
I'm
the
over it.
Apex is for Contender Series.
I agree.
That's
I
it.
agree. Yeah. Dave doesn't agree, I think.
I agree. I agree.
Are you seem like you're in pain. I don't know.
No, I'm fine. I just I understand why they do it. Let me just say that. I understand why they do it. It's just it's almost they have fights every weekend, and even the fight nights. It's so much to be on the road and so much to do these fight nights every weekend to kind of go home and kind of be there at the Apex. I don't like it when they do 2 weeks in a row. To me, that's very lazy when they do it 2 weeks in a row. But once a month, I don't mind it to keep giving us a fight every week. I love, and I'm a huge fan of fight nights. Like fight night in Tampa is awesome. Like I love fight nights when they're in cities like didn't you fight in Kansas City, G?
Yeah.
Like I love those. Like those are so cool. Austin, Texas. I love like Charlotte, North Carolina. I love when they do fight nights in these kind of cities. But I don't mind an Apex show to keep the train going. So we can watch.
So you look at it as like a recharge, reset almost.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I do because I don't know. They've never done 48 or 46 fights a year, not with the Apex.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they can or if they feel like they want to do that, if that makes sense. Mm. So like if you're going to say, hey, it's going to be an off Saturday night for the UFC or an Apex card, give me the Apex card.
Yeah, you know? That's fair.
So that's just me. Okay, another one. Another fight that's very close, maybe not to your heart, but very, very close to you. This co-main event, Saturday night, Angela Hill versus Tabitha Ritchie. That was a fake cough, Angela Hill, fake cough. What do you think about this fight? Who's going to win? What's going to happen?
I knew you were going to bring this up.
I know.
I'm hoping Angela wins it because would be the one that I want after this.
Love that.
So we're hoping that Angela wins it. Yeah. I think she does have what it takes to keep it on the feet primarily, and that's where I think she does win this fight. Okay. I think Tabitha's more of like a little bulldog. She kind of bull rushes, gets the takedown, and Angela's been looking. She's another one who's just been on like the up and up, been looking better and better in her last couple fights, especially for being like, I think she's 38 now, which is super impressive to see her still getting better, you know?
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
That's old as hell.
Yes, it is.
It is in the sport.
I just had a birthday older than that. So there you go. Nice comment here. They go, but G deserves a larger stage. Come on. I like that for sure. G, one last thing. We got Josh Palmer in the waiting deck waiting to come on. He just had a big, big weekend. Cannot wait to pick his brain. We just saw an awesome UFC 305. We just heard you talk about Dricus, but I just know your fighting style and IQ. I know you want to talk about Dan Hooker. I just know you want to talk about him. His win against Gamrot. How crazy was it? One of the best fights I've seen all year. Just insane. What's your thoughts on the fight?
There's a lot of crazy good striking on that card.
Yeah.
From Jack Jenkins on the prelims to is it Prates?
Prates, yeah.
His looked phenomenal.
Oh, he looked
on the
so
feet.
good.
And then to Dan Hooker and Gamrot, another fight where it's just honestly my top moment of that fight 100% is Dan just looks at his coaches. He's like, I fucking love this, boys.
Yeah, like he's like a serial killer. Like that's some
I
weird
love that
shit.
so much.
I know, it's the best. It's the best. We were saying earlier, like that's what makes a dangerous fighter, when they're actually enjoying it and they're in the moment and they're loving that they're in the moment. And it's like, yeah.
I think it's so cool to see, and it's like, I don't know, I live off of that energy. When I see somebody, it's like, it's amazing to see somebody who just loves what they do so much, and like, like cut all over his face,
laughing like a psycho.
It was an amazing moment there. But that fight in general, like Gamrot always impresses me with his scrambles, his rest, like the way he shoots. I'm like, it's just it is so impressive, his relentless pressure. But then obviously you had someone like Dan Hooker just having fun with that the whole time, and it showed.
Yeah, absolutely.
If Dean Thomas calls you, he goes, "Hey G, the UFC is making me in charge of this matchmaking. They want me to match Dan Hooker up with anyone. Who should I do it? Who should Dan Hooker fight next?"
Like, I gotta look into that. I think I'm like, I don't even what division is that?
So he's lightweight. Now he's number 5. A lot of people are talking about they want Blonde Hooker versus Blonde Charles Oliveira. They think that would be an insane fight. Both, have this second kind of career trajectories.
I want
people
him and Gaethje.
About even Gaethje versus Hooker. We threw out R. Grant Dawson versus Hooker. There's a lot of different matchups out there.
I like the Gaethje one a lot. Gaethje versus anyone's a fun fight. And
I know.
The way Hooker performed last week, I'm like, put those two in a cage together and give them $50K.
Yep, that's the money fight right there.
Yeah,
that's true. All right, G. Any did you a couple weeks ago you were talking about maybe getting a new sponsor, weed sponsor, anything jump at you lately? Anything?
We're still in negotiations with that there. Yeah.
Nice. Well, let us know when that comes through.
For sure.
Well, hey, put it over the top. Be like, hey, I'm going to talk about it on the Fight Banana show, and that should lock it in for you.
That's it, right? This is deal signed.
Done deal. G, you're the best. Appreciate you. Have a good Tuesday, and we'll talk to you soon.
I'll see you guys.
Bye.
There you go, Gillian the Savage Robertson. The show keeps on moving. Always. Maddie Levine was so cool to get this next guest on the show for us. Had an awesome weekend. Can't wait to pick his brain about the weekend, but everything else that he does. First time ever coming on the show. Let's get Josh Palmer on the show.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up, Josh? It's so good to see you. I'm so glad you're on the show.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for asking me. It's a pleasure.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I mean, we needed to get the lead commentator from. I mean, everybody's talking about Craig Jones. Right. What an incredible first show.
It was a little bit bananas, excuse the pun.
Yes.
It was crazy. Like, I've been very fortunate to be involved in a lot of events over the last kind of dozen plus years of doing this, and it was like nothing I've ever felt. Certainly for submission grappling. I mean, it was up there with like the biggest of like actual fight cards. To sell that many tickets for submission grappling with that kind of context, it was really just one of those situations where it felt like every single star aligned, and we got what was just 12 hours of insane entertainment. So
yeah. So real quick, give us like the Reader's Digest version of the rules. I think it's called the Alley, right?
Right.
Which the Alley, and then give us like the lowdown on the rules.
So most submission grappling events, right, they take place on a mat, and they're usually over an extended duration of time because it's quite hard to finish people quickly. So 10, 12, 15, even 20 minutes. This aimed to take the whole environment and put it in effectively what is the Karate Combat pit, right? Craig had experience grappling on Karate Combat, loved the idea, decided to make a slightly larger version. So that keeps the action contained. It stops resets. And then what he did was bring in the mixed martial arts scoring system of 3 5-minute rounds and use a 10-9 must system.
Cool.
He also expanded the 10-9 must system slightly in terms of how they were defining it. So we were actually, or the judges, shall I say, were far more inclined to give 10-8s or 10-7s. So there was a much higher gradation of scoring. And Jason Herzog was heading up that kind of officials panel, and they did a lot of rules testing and that kind of thing in the run-up. And it was brilliant. And then the other big difference, which, I think we might see people start adopting, was they did completely open and transparent scoring, which means when seconds are called out at the end of the rest period between rounds, the entire arena, the fighters, everybody, the stream, exactly, not just, what the score was, but which individual judge scored it which way, with their names and the accountability.
I love that.
Everything.
Freaking
brilliant.
Freaking brilliant. I mean,
They were
that's what it's
brilliant.
got to be like, because when your name is attached to that number, boy, you better get that right. You better get it right. Yeah.
I mean, look, credit to the 5 judges. That was some pressure because, your viewers who may not be familiar with the Craig Jones Invitational premise, it was $1 million. Like the winner of each of those brackets, $1 million. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
The
thing that I liked about it the most, Josh, is like sometimes I say this even in MMA stuff, but I can see a round one way, and my brother could sit right next to me and see a score the same round a different way. They might like that one striking position better, or the scoring grappling. So after a round, a grappler can be like, "Oh, wait a second, I thought I won or did good. They gave it to my opponent 10-9. I got to change up. I got to rotate on the dime." And I love that. I think MMA will go that sooner or later. It's wild. It's just think about it. It's like the Super Bowl, and it's like, hey, we're not going to tell you the score to the end. We're just we'll you guess.
Right? It let the fighters adapt on the fly. That was the thing.
Yes.
Going into the third round, they knew, hey, we're tied, and we had a lot of fights tied going into the last round, and it just meant they had to push more. But you're right in that it brought up a lot of discussion about, hey, this judge saw it this way, this didn't. We saw it in the final of the under 80 kilo bracket. We had a guard player in Levi Jones-Leary and a top insane, past wrestler guy in Cade Rotolo. And it was a big discussion, right? Do we credit the guard playing more? It is jiu-jitsu after all. Do we credit the guy trying to pass? And there was a lot of discussion, and the judges were actually very split on who was initiating the more meaningful action. So it was very, very kind of tricky going into that. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, I was just in awe. Like anytime it panned to the crowd, like just absolutely packed. So many people in the stands for number 1. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And then, over the past few years, I would say jiu-jitsu has found its way into the mainstream MMA media circuit, right? What do you think has attributed to the growth of jiu-jitsu? And do you think we'll ever see an MMA fan finally stop saying, let them up, let them up? Like, I feel like the growth of jiu-jitsu is exploding.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. It's definitely exploding. It's exploding from a casual involvement perspective, right? Like, mixed martial arts is hugely entertaining to watch. It ain't that fun to do. Right? Like nobody likes getting punched in the face that much. Some people do, but it's not everyone's cup of tea, right? Mixed martial arts gyms sometimes have a bit of a stigma. There's a lot of egos. It can be a very not engaging environment for your average hobbyist consumer. Jiu-jitsu, on the other hand, is extremely accessible, and it allows people to get into some form of combat art that has a tremendously positive influence on their lives, their social circle, their personal development. It's a great challenge, keeps you fit, all that stuff. And yes, it's hard at times, but it can also be very much more accessible. And I think that's one of the things that has helped the sport grow tremendously. On top of that, you do then occasionally see some really cool stuff happen in real fights. And that's the great thing. And one of the big wins from this weekend was we saw that when it's super dynamic, when it's quite wrestling heavy, and really just when there's a lot of movement and not a lot of this kind of slow isometric holding kind of grappling, it's very engaging for a lot of people. We had a lot of eyeballs. The numbers coming off the back of how many people saw this show was absolutely immense.
Unreal.
Over 3 million views in the first, 36, 48 hours. And able to hold those views. That was the other thing. I mean, it's not my place to share the metrics, but I will tell you that the average view time for people that was logging on was absurd.
I'll share them for you. 1 second. I will go to my lovely friend, Alex Wendling, who crushed it as well.
She was great.
And she shared a lovely little graphic that my jaw dropped. I was just like, wow, okay. So let's see here. Please don't make me a liar, Alex. Where is it? Okay. 1.2 million views, 130,000 concurrent viewers, 10.8 million Instagram impressions.
Yeah, and that was just day one.
Yeah,
Just
dude,
day one.
That was day one.
Unbelievable.
insane.
So
It's
my question for you, was this a flash in the pan? Or do you see this continuing? Do you think that Craig Jones has that power to continue this hype train?
That's the big question, isn't it? Now, this was, like I say, it was kind of a stars align moment because Craig and Seth and the team had done a very good job in the 3 or 4 months. Bear in mind, this thing wasn't a reality 3 months ago.
right.
And they were
Unreal.
Oh, let me tell you. I mean, I know that the community itself had a lot of unanswered questions. What is this production actually going to look like? Because they don't have that many things to compare it to. Obviously, I knew behind the scenes who was producing the thing, and I know what they usually do. So I was like, we got some pro TV guys in. This isn't going to look bad, you know. But it was, you know, there were a lot of things that spurned this that he was able to play off. A lot of skits he was able to build off it. A lot of very specific grievances in other promotions that he was specifically answering. I think proof of concept, it's fantastic. I think the reaction, you've only got to look at it. It's coming back next year, 100%. It's just going to be, you know, can we get the same energy again? And I think there's actually less competition for us in August next year when it's going to happen, right? This event was a direct response to the Abu Dhabi Combat Club World Championships. They only take place every 2 years. It's the exact same weekend, 3 miles down the road at the T-Mobile Arena. We were at the Thomas and Mack. That's not happening next year. So this will be the only super high profile annual, massively anticipated entertainment event. And I think Craig's got enough behind him now that this is going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Josh, I would love someone that does a tiny bit of commentary stuff. Your origin story into commentating, and when you started, was it always UFC? Hey, I'm going to do this for the UFC, or was it just all of combat sports in different genres? Of course, you know, everything you do with karate combat. What's the Batman origin story of your commentating career?
It's I'll try and be super brief. Basically, I got into the sport of grappling 17 years ago because I was an overweight guy who was bullied a lot at school. And, you know, I kind of hung on to that for a long time, all the way through the start of college. I was 322 pounds. And I was kind of on a slow track towards just like sitting at a desk doing, you know, I'm an architect is my other job, you know, doing my job and working towards a heart attack. That was basically it. And I got into jiu-jitsu. I lost about 140 pounds and started competing and that kind of thing. And then I started refereeing jiu-jitsu. So that became every weekend. And then I was at an open mat and a promoter was like, oh, you sound like you know what you're talking about with MMA. Do you want to come and run the judges panel? So in the UK, there's no athletic commissions. So he hired me and 3 of my friends to judge all of his promotions. So I was a judge for 500 or 600 fights.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I was at a local event supporting a teammate. And the guy who was commentating, which was a former professional fighter called Pierre Guillet, came up to talk to one of my friends. And I made a comment about a fighter later up. And he said, oh, you know what you're talking about. I haven't got anyone to commentate with. Do you want to come and sit down and do it?
Oh my God.
And I was like, sure, why not? You know, great. And I did that event. And then I cold emailed the promoter and said, hey, I had a good time. Can I come back, do it for free? He's like, of course. A few later, I was like, hey, can you throw me $50 for gas money? Right. And then he was like, yeah, sure, why not? And then fast forward a little bit. And that guy happened to be the matchmaker for an edition of the Abu Dhabi Fighting Championship, where Stab Economou fought Bob Sapp. And he's like, hey, they want me to fly you out to Abu Dhabi for a week to commentate this. And at the exact same time, Cage Warriors were looking for a new color commentator. And I cold emailed them and managed to somehow parlay one off against the other and get the gig to do that. And it just kind of grew from there, really. I was very lucky. It was right place, right time, and just not saying no to anybody from that point. So
Yes, man.
a little bit, right? But, you know, here we are, 12, 13 years later. And, you know, finally, things like Karate Combat, things like CJI, you know, it's nice to have people call me and say, hey, can you come do this now?
That's my probably my last question for you. And I know we got someone in the couple wait in. Maddie, I know you probably got one more question for Josh. Dude, we got to do this again. Would love to pick your brain for 25 more minutes. I love the space of where we're at of just all of combat sports. This 5 years ago, it seems like you had to be in the UFC or you had to do this and that was it. It is so cool. I've been to 8 karate combats. I love karate combat. I'm not even that. You ready? I love going to a Jake Paul event. They have their niche. The PFL's got their own thing. The UFC, all the thing with submission grapple. It's great that there's so many different avenues, that there's so many different characters and athletes that can make revenue streams so many different ways. I love it. Are you as big a fan of it as I am?
I am, but the unfortunate thing is there's so much of it that I can't possibly. It's not my full-time gig. I 100% can't stay up with everything.
Right.
It's almost impossible for me to know what's going on everywhere. And the UFC particularly is an example, right? They'll, someone will say, "Oh, are you excited about this fight?" I'm like, I've never heard of these guys. The roster's so big. What's going on? It's it's so, unless I don't catch an event live, it's so hard to stay up to date with stuff. And I think people are really, really spoiled now. And as you say very correctly, David, there's a niche for everybody. Yeah. Now, you don't have to be just a hardcore fan who remembers super old Pride references.
Right.
You can, if you want to be the casual TikTok style MMA fan who got into it because you saw the Paul brothers, great. If you're a 50-year-old jiu-jitsu hobbyist nerd dad, great. It's like there's a space for everybody now, and that's awesome.
That's the beauty of evolution, man. But you know what? It's crazy. Like someone like my husband, right? I call him Rain Man because he knows every fighter. He knows how they did in their last fight. He knows their pros, their cons. I'm like, how do you know these people? Like, I don't have the brain capacity to remember. So, Josh, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Oh, yeah.
Just say no to drugs, Maddie. Say no to drugs, okay?
Never. No, just kidding. Anyway, Josh,
Love it.
this was so great. And we really hope we can have you on again. What's next for you? Is it karate combat? Is it waiting on Craig? Okay.
No, Craig will call at some point. I know we're going to have a debrief, but next up for me is Singapore and a 19-hour plane flight. But yeah, karate combat in Singapore should be awesome. Haven't seen the full card yet. I'll get that about a week out, start doing my research and stuff, but it's it's going to be a good time. It's never not a good time.
Right. Seriously. Well,
Josh,
thank you,
you're
Josh.
the man. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure. I hope to catch you again soon.
Yeah, let's do this again for sure.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Josh.
Palmer, guys. There we go.
Bye.
Awesome. All right. We're absolutely rolling. I'm sorry that we were 2 minutes late on our next guest. Can't wait to talk to him, guys. He does so much stuff behind the scenes, big advocate of MMA and combat sports. Also, he has his own brand, Redefine Violence. He's been a huge partner here with Fight Bananas. First time coming onto the show. There we go. Our main man, Luis. My man, how are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm good, man. I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you.
Love it.
Yeah, did you get the shirt?
Not yet.
Everybody
We haven't got him yet,
Okay.
but dude, we can't wait. We can't wait, dude. We
All
can't
right,
wait.
cool.
And not even that, like, I love the whole, and there's so much we want to talk to you about off the rip,
Yeah.
but like the whole line. It's not just the t-shirt line. You got so much gear, so much into it. What did you wake up one day and be like, hey, this is what I'm going to do?
Let's
Like,
make
how
some
did you
gear.
envision this whole spread, brother?
Yeah, no. So it started off with just a couple of shirts, and started back in 2020. I was in a different part of the world, kind of stuck throughout COVID. And every day, my teammates and I on the team that I was on, we would practice something, whether it was shooting or jiu-jitsu or boxing or stand-up or anything like that. Or we talk about hunting. And then I started to kind of wonder if there was anything out there that was actively trying to house everybody under one banner, under one roof. And I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find a company. I couldn't find a brand that was specifically trying to go after everybody. So then that's where kind of you see here behind me, the wolf in sheep's clothing kind of came into play. And to me, it represents, instead of evil hidden amongst good, which is traditionally how you tell the story, we tell it as capable hidden amongst the oblivious.
I love it.
That's powerful. I like that. Tell us a little bit about your story. Like why, I mean, you touched upon why you started Redefine, but where did your story begin with martial arts?
So I enlisted in the Marine Corps in 2008.
Thank you for
Very
that, by the
early.
way, my man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I was 17 when I went in. That was my first, endeavor into, self-defense or defending others or anything like that. And then little by little throughout my life, I kind of just realized my life was engulfed in these quote unquote violent things, whether it's shooting or martial arts. And I didn't feel like I was a bad person, but sometimes these things can be seen as, bad or evil or a little bit, with a stigma behind it. So that's kind of where my mindset kind of came from. I was a Marine for a while. I left that, moved to Texas, and then I went back overseas as a contractor. So I've been doing that for about 10 years now, off and on. I just can't seem to come home permanently. So,
man. So like I said, there's a lot, but the one thing I definitely want to hit on right off the rip, Miss Carly sent me this phenomenal video about you guys as a company sponsoring kids to get into jiu-jitsu as a young age and all of that nature. I think it's like, is it for each sale? Some of that goes into it. Tell us that kind of story and why you thought of that and why you guys do that to this day.
Yeah, so a percentage of each of our sales goes towards a fund that we kind of keep aside, and then we try to do at least one a quarter per year, where we reach out to a gym that has an existing member already there, and we don't ask them to get into specifics, but every gym has a family that might be experiencing a little bit of turmoil, a little bit of tough times. So the big thing for me is, and I don't know if you guys are parents or have kids or have dealt with them, the first thing that goes when times start to get tough is extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And so for me, it's a big thing to try to keep that kid going. So what we do is we step in and we'll pay for 3 or 4 months of, at least half of that kid's, what's it called? Like the monthly fee
program.
For them to
Yeah.
For the monthly fee for them to keep going. So that's what our program is. We'd love to expand it. We can start doing 2 or 3 kids a month. And that, to me, the discipline and the humility, as you guys know, what you learn in martial arts is so big for development.
Oh, so big.
If we can keep a kid not skipping a beat, and to parents out there, it's nothing to feel shame about. If you reach out to us or anything, it's just we understand. And why not give you a little bit of a relief if we're doing okay as a company and we can pay it forward in some way. So yeah, that's our youth sponsorship program in a nutshell. And like I said, hopefully, thankfully, it's been great so far and we can continue to grow it.
So for any gym owners out there, does the gym owner have to contact you? Can a family contact you? How does that part work?
So far, it's been a little bit of both. It's been a gym owner, or it kind of puts us in the direction. They don't really ask questions, but they kind of know whether a parent's either skipped a month or hasn't been able to come by for a month. So they'll put us in contact with the family, or we've had some families to reach out to us. Unfortunately, we have a little bit of a backlog right now just because the company's growing. So we do have some people that are kind of next up on the list, but please contact us. Things like this, that's why I like to do things like this, get awareness about the company. It's not about the shirts, it's about what we can do with the sales. And we also have our own Redefined Violence athletes that we sponsor, and we help fulfill their dreams. If they have a competition coming up, we'll buy them some protein, or we'll pay for half of their entry fee, or we'll pay for their entry fee. That's kind of the way we see it.
I love that. So I love this message. I want so many more people to know about Redefined Violence. Like, this is so fabulous. Love what you guys are doing. And not for nothing, the gear is pretty cool. So let's take a look at the gear for a second. If you head over, let's see, I have this pulled up for us here. redefinedviolence.com. Look at this swag. Look at all that. You got something for everybody. I love this. You got tank tops for women. You got sweatshirts. I'm constantly stealing my husband's, so now I can get my own. Beautiful.
I love the bag. I like the swag bag.
Yeah, that's killer.
Yeah, we've got a few more things to get up there too. So shorts, everything. We try to maintain the wolf in sheep's clothing in different avenues. Actually, what you see on the top left there is our newest project. So we're going to start doing the Local Legends collection, and I had this idea after the whole Trump shirt. I was like, well, maybe we could start doing like famous fighters or old school fighters on there in black and white. But then a buddy of mine suggested, he's like, well, you should do local fighters and team up.
Love that.
So that's what we're doing. We'll create a shirt for local fighters, And then we're going to give them the lion's share. I think we're doing a 60-40 split on any profits towards them. They get the 60 so that it helps with their fight camp coming up.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my personal next like project that I want to do for people.
That's so sick.
I love it. I love it. And right now, Louis, everything is just redefineviolence.com. Is that the only way to get all the content, all the merch?
Yes, redefineviolence.com. We do a lot of pop-up shows here where I'm located. Okay. So I'm located deep South Texas, like the border. The border is like 10 miles that way.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Here in McAllen, we try to do a lot of community events and things like that. So redefineviolence.com. You can find anything. If we don't have it, message us. We will restock it.
That's and awesome. when you say you do these pop-up events, that means like you take a lot of swag, you take a lot of gear, shirts, tank tops, and bring them to these events and just sell them straight out.
Yeah, and sell them straight up to the people. Make people wear the message, the branding. You know, try to highlight what we can. Thankfully, we've got a decent social media following. So if there's anybody out there that wants to work with us, we try to never say no and just partner up. If you notice, the one thing on our social media, we do a lot of collab posts. Yeah. That's like a personal pet peeve of mine, because when I started the company, I would reach out to people, try to see if we can collaborate on something, whether it was a t-shirt or whatever. And I kept, I got turned down a lot. So now it's like a personal vendetta to me to not turn anybody down.
And you collab with us. You go beautiful fight posts. You got Amanda Rebos and Mackenzie Dern. We getting the message out there. Hey, I don't know if you've been seeing. We've been pushing it really hard. A ton of new beautiful artwork and content with Redefine Violence out there. Man, we're a huge fan of the whole brand. And then something I want to talk to you about. And Carly's been talking to me behind the scenes about. A drink, a beer line. What is that? Are you drinking that now, or is it too early to drink that? What's that
too early
about?
Here? I promised my wife always after 5, I guess. No. So we partnered up with a local brewery called 5x5 Brewing to create our own IPA with them. Double tap. You could only get it at the brewery, but then coincidentally after that. It's weird. I might talk about this later on in another video, but I heard a quote from Jay-Z on a Kanye West documentary that said, closed mouths never get fed. So I took that to heart and I kept bugging the brewery owners like, hey, I want in, I think. So they kind of did an assessment on me, and then I ended up becoming a part of the brewery. So now I'm part owner of 5x5 Brewing. And that's so we can talk about that later and see how we can involve that. And yeah, I mean, I'm stoked. It's all veteran owned and operated. It's down here in South Texas. You could find it, basically anywhere in South Texas. And my goal is to help them expand and go across the country.
Unbelievable. You are just a working man. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And the message
I think it's
great.
why we connect so well, man. We're as a company, we're just a grinding company. We're that little engine that could. And I think that's why we click so well. There's a good question right here from Michael. He goes, what are the biggest challenges of an apparel company?
The biggest challenges, I think for me, would probably be honing in on a proper message. Find out whether you want to sell product or find out whether you want to sell the story behind your brand. Great point. And that kind of tied everything into me once I heard that. And it all goes down to like the way I market our social media specifically. A lot of our posts don't even have our product in it, or it's not a focus point of it. It's the person that's wearing it. So if I don't have a clear shot of the back of the t-shirt, that's okay, as long as I have a clear shot of the person. So I want our landing page to be very specific to where it's a community brand. And that's just the way that I chose. If you have an amazing product that's, not a t-shirt or something else, then yeah, you can definitely market the product itself. But I want to market the people that wear the product. And coincidentally, after that, people buy the product. So it's pretty cool.
I mean, that's kind of genius, though, because you're putting a face to the product and people fall in love with the face. Then they fall in love with the product. So there's a method to the madness.
There is. And even somebody, who has, I've never believed that, if someone who has 700 followers or 400 followers or 10,000, one is more impactful than the other, because even the person who has 400 to 700 followers, they might have people that are actually a little more interested in their story. So yeah, it's a big deal to me to showcase as many people in the community as possible, not just with martial arts, whether you're a police officer, a military member, a competitive shooter, canine, all that stuff. That's what we encompass.
I love it. When you got into mixed martial arts, right? Was it just did you become like a fan of the UFC? Was it before that with Pride? Was it a fighter? Tell us kind of your story of maybe a fandom of kind of the MMA scene.
Man, it was for me personally, it was looking for something that kind of helped my mind a little bit after the
Yeah.
military and helped me find ways to calm down. So
Yeah.
that's what jiu-jitsu was for me. That was my first love in martial arts. And I tell people all the time, like for me, it's just something where I can go and I have a physical representation of what might be going on up here. And
Sure.
something as simple as like a tap and then everything resets. So I try to take that throughout my daily life. When things get hectic, it's just too much going on. Just take a step back. Hey, go ahead and tap for a second, and I get to reset everything. I didn't learn that until I got into jiu-jitsu and the overwhelming pressure that comes from a 100-pound person, squeezing your face. So yeah, that's it for me, and that's what I love. And it was behind the scenes I was just a fan for a while.
Yeah.
And now I'm here, and we have the company. We make rash guards, and we sponsor different competitions. We're actually creating our own South Texas league down here, where we are going to have boxing, jiu-jitsu, and MMA. Our first show is going to be in March, so if we can't have you guys out there for that one, we'd love to have you guys out there.
Is
for the
there
next one.
anything this guy doesn't do?
Oh,
I mean,
Lee,
that's incredible.
Dude, let's get the plane tickets already.
Let's
we
do
would
it.
love to,
Yeah,
man.
we're
That's
actually going to be
dope. That
hosting
would
it.
be-
And
We're there.
yeah, South Padre Island. It's a beautiful destination spot if you've never been. So that's where our first event's going to be. And the idea behind it is to kind of showcase everything in one weekend. So we own the boxing ring. We have our mats. We're going to get a cage built. So we'll have something for different fans all weekend.
Count us in, man. That sounds
Yeah,
fun.
that'd be awesome.
I went to South Padre Island probably like 8 years ago. It was before they have a bad storm or a bad flood, I believe.
Yeah, there's always a storm or two hitting us down here.
Yeah.
North,
I
right,
was there. I felt like I was there like the spring before they had a really, really bad storm or something like that. And I just remember like it was beautiful. Like they say, it was absolutely stunning. South Padre Island.
Yeah, it's going to be great for people. So something happens a little bit south of San Antonio where the productions don't really come down here. It's super. We're way down far, and we kind of see a void, and we want to fill that void to create what we say a lily pad for everybody else to continue on and go to Fury, go do great things elsewhere. But if we can create a solid production, and that's what we want to focus on too, is exposing these fighters to interviews, exposing them to the camera, letting them know, hey, if you're headed to the show, these are the things that you're going to have to deal with, media days and photos and all these other things. So we want to create that on a smaller scale and at least give athletes a taste of what that is, just to see how serious they are,
That's fantastic.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, anyone that's watching right now, or if they're going to watch back on the replay, and Louis, we're just going to chop up your like 15, 20-minute part 2. All you guys have to do is follow Redefine Violence, follow Fight Bananas, and just send us a shirt emoji. What we're going to do is we're going to buy any shirt that you guys want on Redefine Violence. We will buy the shirt. We will send it to your doorstep. All you have to do is put in the emoji, DM Fight Bananas, the shirt emoji, but make sure you follow Redefine Violence on IG. Make sure you follow Fight Bananas ourselves. You win a free t-shirt. You can go to their website, redefineviolence.com. Pick any t-shirt you want, boy, girl, tank top. There you go. Free t-shirt. We'll send it to your doorstep.
Yeah. Awesome.
There you go. Cool. Anything else, Maddie? This is awesome.
I want to get the word out as much as possible, man. I mean, this is such a cool program. Your heart's in the right place. You're an entrepreneur. I mean, what's not to support? What's not to like? And you serve our country. I mean, come on, man. It doesn't get much better than that. It doesn't.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah,
thanks for having us on. Especially for a small company, it's you guys giving a platform to things like this. It is big. It's a lot bigger than you guys realize. So thank you.
Yeah, Fight Bananas, we are so much more than fights. We try to, really get into the community. So thank you so much for your time. And make sure redefineviolence.com, people. Check it out there.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate it, brother. We'll talk
soon.
Thank
you. Bye.
All right. Dude, that was awesome.
Amazing. I mean, what a cool, just message and life plan. I mean,
love the vibe, right?
The guy has an amazing plans.
Great story.
Entrepreneurial spirit. Like, it's just great. It's just great.
Insane.
So glad he's a part of the Fight Bananas family. Shout out to Carly Connor. She's great.
Shout out. Dude, did you see hear the news about
So now that I'm thinking about it, Carly, why is it Carly Connor? Am I having a brain fart right here?
No. It's isn't her
last name Carrier? I don't know,
That's
Carly.
Kevin.
Help
You
me
know
out
L
here.
Wagman is still L Wagman on her ID?
Yeah, yeah.
L Dawson?
You know what? That's fair because I'm still Maddie Grimaldi on my Cash App. So
Well, that's a Cash App. Maybe you want men to know your Cash App. That's not your last name.
Maddie Grimaldi, drop it in the Cash App,
Maybe you want
bitch.
that.
Let's go.
I've had to buy some plane tickets, and she's like, it's still Wagman. I'm just,
I love it. I love it.
But-
What a great show.
to me, it was a great show. Shout out real quick to Carly's husband, Kevin, who just got his fight, LFA, a couple months. So that's pretty awesome. Pumped for that. Shout out, Kevin Carrier.
Yeah, Carly. I was like, wait a minute. I'm so confused. It's all coming together now. It's all coming together. But yeah, Kevin's gonna crush it. I mean, he had such an incredible performance at Combat Zone.
You were there live, weren't you?
I was the lead commentator. It's whatever. Yeah, it's whatever. But no, he looked fantastic. And so I'm really glad to see him just continue this role and just collect a bunch more wins and get to that next level. And it's going to be awesome. So, yeah, let's look forward. I mean, like, what's coming ahead?
No, we got 9 minutes, and there's some stuff I do want to talk about.
All right,
okay?
get it off your chest. Say it with your chest.
I absolutely love. So this is Tuesday afternoon. We get home. We pick up the kids from 3 different schools, 3 different bus stops, 3 different areas. That's another story for another time. Not this show. Sorry. That's therapy session. We do dinner. We do baths. We do homework. Start tucking the kids into bed. And then Dana White Contender Series comes on Tuesday nights. It's incredible, Maddie. I don't know why they haven't. And I know PFL goes on Friday, and I'm a big fan of it. When is a MMA? Dude, football's on Monday night. Why can't we have the UFC go on Monday night? Why can't the UFC literally Monday Night Football is going to start pretty soon here in a month. Then they go to January. Monday Night Football ends. Why can't the UFC on ESPN goes, we're taking over Monday night? Everyone would watch it.
At 8 p.m. At 7 p.m. At 12 p.m. No, I'm just kidding.
5 fights. It doesn't need the prelims, just the main card. Like the Contender Series doesn't
have the prelims at the venue, but have the broadcast.
It's actually not a bad idea.
Be the main event.
The prelims are on YouTube.
Done. But you know what's happening? I think it's just one of those things where there was a certain way to do it for so long that it's just continuing. So it's like when the fight world started, when boxing started, it was a Saturday night thing.
No, they can still have Saturdays. And I don't want them
I get
to
that,
take
but
those
I think it's just like a traditional, like this is, rinse repeat situation.
Yeah.
There's definitely room. When do you think we're gonna see MMA on Netflix? UFC, live UFC on Netflix.
Do you think we're gonna see it? 2025. It's happening.
2025?
I got the inside scoop. Not allowed to say anything.
But I'm gonna say it, you fucking dumbass.
I'm the worst. I got the inside scoop. All right, next thing, guys, put in some questions real quick. UFC Monday Night Fights. I'm down. Thank you, Making the Walk.
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm gonna make a post tomorrow. What should Fight Bananas ask Jake Paul, Francis Ngannou, and Cyborg? Give us some good questions. What should we ask them?
Yes. What are those dire questions that we need to ask these people? Because let's be real. There's going to be so many reporters there asking the run-of-the-mill questions, okay? We want to know what our Fight Bananas team, fam, friends, if you will, compadres even. What do you guys want to know? What do you want to know? And we will find it out.
I have something for Jake already kind of planned. I got like nothing for Francis. You ready for this one? I know this. I'm like still in a weird spot with Francis.
What did you do?
No. Me and Francis are actually really cool, but like everything that he went through, like, I know. I'm just like,
who's gonna be the one? Who's gonna be the reporter to ask about it? You know what I mean?
Not me.
I would
cannot do that.
I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat.
Ask Francis what his plans are for PFL Africa. Okay. There we go, Dawson.
That's not bad. I want a little more creativity. Let me get some more creativity. Like, Jake Paul, what's your skincare routine?
If Cyborg wins this fight, Does she become the greatest female fighter in the history of the sport?
When does she retire is the real question. Chris
Never.
Cyborg
She never retires.
is 39 years old. Is that I don't want to use the word old. Is that the not youngest female fighter? Active female fighter? Dawson, thank you very much. Excellent
What did I
question.
say to you right away, Maddie? You came on the thing. I didn't even say hi to you. I go, Maddie, your hair looks amazing. Didn't I say that to you right away?
Guys,
Dude.
stop, keep it coming. No, it's because as I told Dave, I am learning how to give myself time to get ready for the show now instead of running around like a fucking madwoman. So I gave myself time. I did my hair, I did my makeup. You're going to see a new Maddie moving forward, and I can't wait to tell you why.
Wait, you have a big announcement coming up soon?
I have a big announcement next week, and you're going to see why I'm like actually trying now.
Is Chris Cyborg going to retire when Chris Shields?
Oh, yeah. I think so.
She would whoop Clarissa Shields.
I don't see that fight happening at all.
She loses to Amanda Nunes again in a rematch, and she'll lose to Kansas.
Okay. Well, I don't think Amanda Nunes is coming back.
Yeah.
She has no reason to. She doesn't want to fight Kayla Harrison. I think Kayla wins that fight. Yeah. What do you mean? Fight Bananas hired a stylist for That'd be sick.
That would be sick. I'm the road stylist.
Let me just write in. Not.
I'm literally gonna bring. I like as a joke, of course, but I'm gonna bring like a big sippy cup. I have like 100 of them at home for me, Susie, and the girls and everything. I'm gonna bring a big sippy cup, and I'm gonna get like big duct tape.
Yeah.
And write spicy margarita on it. I'm not gonna have it in there,
That's
but like
cute.
I'm gonna give it to Krista. Isn't that? I think that's a good joke.
I like that. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Very thoughtful.
Yeah. No, for
Going
sure.
the extra mile.
We always go the extra mile here.
That's like the Fight Bananas. Crazy about fights and goes the extra mile.
And hires a stylist for Maddie. But you leave tomorrow?
Yeah.
So you get to go to Washington. You're gonna have a crazy time in Washington. Yep. And then there's like just so much stuff coming up, and I'm really excited. So make sure you stay tuned into the Fight Bananas pages for, announcements and shows. And is there another announcement? Not that I know of.
Yeah. I got another one. So I think I said it on another show. Thanks, Dawson. So we at Fight Bananas are also going to the Canelo Alvarez fight in Las Vegas, Nevada, September 14th. Me and the main man, John Radford, the leader of Boxing Bananas, been doing incredible work over there. He's coming with me. Boxing Bananas, live in Las Vegas, Nevada, Canelo Alvarez fight.
Sick. Love that. Fantastic.
I don't know.
We're always around. We're always there. Fantastic.
What a life.
I know. For real.
And you got a big announcement next week?
Yeah.
Wow, what a tease. What a tease.
Yep. Just leaving you on a string.
All right. A minute and 20 seconds left. DDP fights who next?
DDP will fight. Let's see. Let me pull up my old roster here. Sean Strickland.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah, 1000%.
Kaya France fights who next?
Let me see. That's flyweight, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Kai Car France. You think he's gonna fight Pantoja, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Not the number one contender.
He is the number one contender now.
Well, not Royval, Brandon Royval.
No, Royval is fighting. He's booked.
Oh, he's matched. Okay.
Yeah, matched up city.
So then, yeah, I guess Pantoja, huh?
Yeah. Amir Balza.
Can you? We haven't even spoke about this. The next pay-per-view is the Sphere.
Yeah.
The next pay-per-view is in the Sphere. I'm going. No, I'm not. Fight Bananas don't got it like that just yet.
See those tickets? It's insane.
Thousands, right? Thousands. I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
it's like 3K for like the nosebleed. The nosebleed's 3K. So here's the crazy part. Canelo Alvarez is the same night as the Sphere. So we're actually out there the whole week. So
Oh my God, Dave.
So
Dave, that's crazy.
yeah. So I've already talked to a couple people in the streets of Las Vegas, a couple UFC peeps, and be like, hey,
Let us in.
let's nap up. Let's nap up. I'll meet you at White Castle at around 2 a.m. Give me the gossip.
That's fantastic.
And Maddie, I'm just going to be honest. If I get a media credential for that, Canelo Alvarez, cheers.
Yeah.
See ya.
See you later. Yeah, for real. For real. I'll catch you on the stream. Yeah, that would be freaking wild. Dawson, we will wish Dave a happy birthday on his real birthday. His birthday is August 30th. So we will wait.
Yeah. That they just surprised me, and that they did it so good because it wasn't my birthday, so I was not thinking anything was going to happen. That's why it worked so well.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, we went over the 2-hour mark. We chatted for 8 minutes randomly, which was amazing. Guys, thank everyone so much on the show. Dakota Bush, amazing, right? Karisa Maxwell, always amazing.
Always.
Gillian the Savage Robertson brings the savage every time. Josh Palmer, we need him back on as soon as possible.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's fantastic.
Great. And then Redefine Violence, Luis, on the show for the first time ever. Let's bring him back on next time, please.
Let's do it.
Maddie, you didn't even just look amazing with your hair. You performed and sound amazing, like always. The best.
I try. You did okay.
Good day, folks.
Bye, everybody.
You close it. You say something. Can you say something inspirational on the way out, please?
Bye.